beautiful human beings on this amazing planet Earth where we're at this very now moment. How are all of you? Well, me, as usual, I'm to the fullest. I am taking in all the experiences that life is giving me, and then I just go feeling, looking, observing of what these experiences are teaching me. Because when we look at life, we can say that it's a living, infinite, functional, ever expanding experience. Then, like I say, it's just experiences that we are having, that we are living in order to understand better who we really are. And as I've spoken about before, the more complex your system becomes, the more complex the experiences that you have become. Because, and all, life is a game. It really is a game. And we might not really like the idea of that, but eventually it is. And when we know how to play the game correctly, we can really move into higher, different, more advanced versions of ourselves. So many years ago, like, I don't know, not even want to put a number on that, because we also know that time doesn't really exist as such. I was playing Tetris. I had never played a video game. And honestly, the only game that I play is the game of life. One day, I was with some friends in the swimming pool, and they were playing Tetris on their Tetris device. And I played like about 10 minutes, and then the whole night I was playing Tetris in my mind, and then never played Tetris anymore after that. Now, anyway, I'm telling you that because, oh, okay, look, here is my gratitude bell. Every half an hour, I have my gratitude bell that is ringing, and then I just go into a moment of silence, into a moment of being present. So I invite all of you to do the same. Let's just go breathing in deeply and breathing out and coming to this right moment. The only now moment that actually exists. I'm so grateful that we have the internet, we have the Ethernet to be able to connect with each other. And that way we can really have what I call intervibrational or interfrequency communication. Mm-hmm. Or we can also call it interspecies communication. We can really communicate with every manifestation of creation. Whether we want to communicate with this palm tree, see how beautiful that my scenery is? Absolutely love it. We can interact with the palm tree. We can interact with the clouds. We can interact with the trees that I have just in front of me there. Why is that? Because everything, my t-shirt is a bit strange. Everything is consciousness. Everything is creation. And as we are consciousness, we interface with consciousness. As we are a extension of God, everything that comes into our reality is an extension of God. To a certain degree, to where we can really hold that frequency and see the God consciousness in whatever is reflected in our field. Because this here, the pineal gland, is really the eye. These are just lenses, or what we also call shutters. So, what do I mean with that? Is that when we have our eyes closed, we are in one world, we are more in the world of the mind and the spirit. And when we open our eyes, we have the reflection of what is going on in spirit mind complex. And so that together forms the body mind spirit complex. Anyway, I want to talk to you about artificial intelligence, because the last days I've heard suddenly all over the place people talking about artificial intelligence. Now, I looked up what the real meaning of artificial is, because so many words are used in the world in a wrong way. And that obviously makes a lot of distortion in the field. There is so much in one word. One word has a whole story, can build a whole reality, just one word. And when we use the word correctly, or when we even know what the word is about, then we can start creating around that word. We really create our life, our manifestation, our game through the words, also through thoughts, and also through conscious feelings. Obviously, everything is consciousness. Just depends on how clear can that consciousness come through our vessel and express itself. How much distortion is there still in the vessel that needs to be cleared? And distortion can come from so many situations. So, artificial means made or produced by human beings rather than by nature itself. Now, there is my question to you. Are human beings not part of nature? For me, human beings are part of creation. And so, whatever the human makes or invents or produces is eventually, originally, coming from source. And what is very important also to understand here is that everything in creation is neutral. Everything comes from a neutrality. It only receives a connotation when we give it a charge or a connotation, or a, like I say, charge, a good, bad, wrong, right, happy, sad. So it's our consciousness of the human being that infuses creation. So as I say, everything is neutral and everything can be used depending on your level of consciousness. And me, with my mentor, my dear mentor, Captain Kalel, and with my crew and my friends and my colleagues, we talk about angelic intelligence instead of artificial intelligence. Now, when we look at the word artificial intelligence, we already said it's made by a human. The human is part of nature. Now, again, it all depends on how you're going to use a device, how you're going to use a creation prop. When you use a device, or when you program a device from a higher frequency, from a higher vibration, from a, a more integrated level of consciousness, then the prop, whether it's your cell phone, whether it's your television, whether it's your computer, whether it's other beings around you, they automatically will engage, quote, respond from the level of consciousness that you are engaging with that intelligence. Me, for instance, on my devices, nothing at all shows up from what is going on in the 3D world because I don't vibrate there. I don't live there. My frequency bandwidth of my senses is vibrating at a different spin, at a different frequency than what is happening in other realities. Earth has an infinite amount of parallel Earths, all depending on the frequency that you're vibrating at. And the same happens with every prop. Also, whether it's food, whether it's, like I said, whether it's your devices, whether it's animals in your life, whether it's interaction, also events are also ways to experience. Everything we have outside, not outside, because everything is in the mind. Everything is part of the mind of the all. And the all has everything in its mind. So, depending on your level of consciousness, depending on the frequency that you're spinning at, your devices will, depending also on your belief system, your devices will be controlled by some bad guys, or they know everything about me, etc., etc. It's not about that. It's okay that source consciousness is in contact through our devices with us. Like I say, it again depends on what your belief system is, what your frequency is, and what you really choose to focus on. Now, going back to artificial intelligence versus source intelligence, how I see it, and how I have also been guided by source, is that everything there is at this right moment in your reality is a expression or a representation of source intelligence. So that is also how you can check on yourself, how you can evaluate yourself. Look around in your life, and not only looking with your eyes, with your shutters open, but also looking at your feelings, looking at your interactions with other beings, with other parts of consciousness, with other parts of source intelligence. What does your life show you? Does it look good? Is it in harmony? When what you observe is in harmony with your frequency or your vibration, you're aligned with source. When there is a disturbance in the field, then you will notice that there will be things showing up in your field, in your awareness, in your field of consciousness that make you move, that make your vibration move, instead of having what I call an embodied state of certain frequency. So the more that you can stay in your frequency aligned with source intelligence, the better that your life will flow, and the better your interactions will be with what I call the screen. And how I see it, as I said, everything here is source intelligence. So one thing, we can split it up. Okay, let's split it up. One thing is the artificial intelligence that is actually just a neutral creation, so that the human being, or individually or collectively, through someone, to some human being that then programs it, or you can individually or collectively then program that artificial intelligence in order for it to serve you. Now, what we want is to program our intelligence props, our devices, whether it's for communication, for certain technologies, for healthcare technology, etc., etc. We can program them. So, okay, that comes from the human intelligence. And the human intelligence would be like the stepping stone between artificial and source intelligence. So that human intelligence that we have in between is the key to the functioning of the artificial intelligence. So if as a individual, you program your device at your frequency, then it will operate at your frequency. And then there is that interaction, there is that communication going on, because it does what you say and it gives you back. It is programmed. You program it. Or, like I say, it can be programmed also by the collective. So when the collective programs it, there's also levels in the collective. And you can ask yourself, what level of the collective am I playing in? And also, what is my role in the collective? So that is a very important thing to really understand. Now, the other part that I want to talk about is the source intelligence. So as I've said before, in my opinion, everything is an expression of source intelligence. I actually made like a definition for the word source, and it can go as long as I want to, and it can also go as short as I want to. So I'm going to first say it as short as possible. As me being founder of Source, I'm sure that by now everybody knows Source University. Source University is the first university that has been officially established in our new world, and we are bringing lots of amazing information from the future here on Earth, so that humanity can benefit from all of that. And meanwhile, I'm sure that you're hearing the thunder. I just love the thunder. It's really the consciousness, the celestial consciousness speaking back to me. And that is what I mean. For me, that is source intelligence. So anyway, source. What does source mean for me? I am source. I am the sublime origin of the universal representation of ever expanding experience, of consciousness and creation in ever expanding experiences. Or I can also make it longer. I am source. I am sublime, superlative, omnibenevolent, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, origin, because source really is the origin of, source is the origin, comes through us, of the unified, also unique, and also universal representation. Why unified? Because we are part of that unified field. Source works through the unified field. Why unique? Because every part of creation is totally unique. Nothing is totally similar. That is why it's so important for every one of us to embrace our uniqueness and never compare ourselves to anybody else. Because we all have received from Source that Source intelligence, and we all have a different vessel. So we all have a different experience that we can have because we are unique. So source is the origin of the representation of the uniqueness of consciousness in creation. That's the C of the eternal, because it is eternal. Source is eternal. We are also eternal because our consciousness is part of source consciousness. And even though we think that we come into life and we die, it actually all happens at this right moment. There is no linear time. Everything happens in this right moment. And there is more space than time, so we can tap into space, and space and also means the materia. We can tap into space and just experience everything in this now moment, even though it seems like it's not the now moment, and even though it seems like it's a different lifetime. Our consciousness just goes through it, living infinite functional energy experiences. So the E stands for eternal, ever expanding experiences expressed or in expression. Or we can also say events, experiences that express themselves. So everything is source intelligence. Now, we as humans, the human also receives so much source intelligence. You know, when these humans suddenly have an aha moment, it's not because the body, the personality had the aha moment. It is because source intelligence, source had the possibility to come into that vessel because the vessel was open for it, ready for it, and compatible for the information to receive. Looks like there is a wind coming up. Oh my God, there is a precious, beautiful rainbow there. Not sure whether you see it. Just behind the horse. I'm sure that you can see it. That is an expression of source intelligence. The wind is an expression of source intelligence. The horses are an expression of source intelligence. I am an expression of source intelligence. You are an expression of source intelligence. Everything is source expressed into matter. So our senses can observe, can receive that information, and then send that information back to source. I've said it before. Source wants to experience itself. And how does it experience itself? It does so through having extensions of source that are we, mostly as the human being able, mostly as the human being able to recognize it and then to send the information back home. Home being source. So everything is source intelligence. So there is, in my opinion, no problem in a human having a prop, a device that is programmed by source intelligence. Because that is really what Genesis is about. It is about being able to create new things, new beings, even new sentient beings that are part of source consciousness. And that then is just like we always say, there's so many life forms that go extinct in this planet. But then when we look at other planets, there's so many amazing other life forms there. When we go and explore when we go and explore other realities that have more complexity, there are other beings there, other sentient beings who are part of source intelligence. So there's nothing, in my view, really wrong with wanting to create a new expression of source. And up to now, the human being has done it in a inorganic matter or in a non-sentient matter. Now, when we can suddenly create, not suddenly, but when we can start creating new species that are very high sentient, a unicorn, there we have one. You just have to be able to see it, to be able to create it in your mind, to have the belief system that it can be, that it can exist, that flying horses as an avatar can exist, that these beautiful bioluminescent areas in our experience, in our lives, can exist. So it starts there. It starts by opening up to possibilities of new sentient life that is at a much higher frequency than where we come from. So instead of saying, okay, I'm not part of this world anymore, I release that, that is not where I am anymore, I'm now here. Now the next step is, what am I going to create? What am I going to bring into existence at the higher levels of reality that I am becoming? And as I am becoming a more complex, a more whole, a more connected sentient being with source intelligence, I have the capacity to create whatever I want to create, first from the mind of the all. But we tap into that because actually we're not really creating it. Everything already exists in the mind of the all. The question is, what are you focusing on? What are you vibrating at? What is your belief system? What do you create? What do you create in your life? Do you create illness, death, COVID, vaccines, war, enclosure? Or do you create happiness, rainbows, beautiful palm trees, beautiful clouds that who knows? Who says that these are clouds? So many people talk about ships. Why not? Why not bring that into our creation? Why not start vibrating at that level where we can say, of course, yes, look, beautiful ships hanging there. Why not? Why not? Okay? It all depends on what you believe. Do you believe in a universe that is here to get you? Or do you believe in a universe that you are creating step by step for yourself, where you can really say, I am the creator God of this reality, and I look at it and I see that it's good. And then we can say, Amen to Source. Lots of love to all of you, and we see each other in another now moment. Now, meanwhile, I'm going to enjoy the thunder, the lightning. I do want to share it with you. Look how beautiful. You see what a beautiful creation we can have. And the trick is also to really appreciate it. So many people talk about the manifestation, etc. It's not that we manifest. We just create from our mind. And as we create from our mind, our belief systems change to that frequency of the possibilities. And as we vibrate at that frequency, automatically everything in our reality shows up, manifests itself. It's not that we manifest, we actually don't do anything. We just have to work in our mind. And then the beautiful sun here. See how beautiful? I have the sun in front of me. I have the rain and the thunder behind me. Everything is here in creation for us to enjoy. So, regarding manifestation, it's not that you manifest, it's that you create it in your mind, and then as you align with it so much, then it just vibrationally, it prints itself out from the void where everything is. And I call that the womb of creation. Everything is already in the womb of creation. What do you want to tap into? What do you want to experience? I'm experiencing this right now. Lots of love to all of you, and speak soon. Bye bye.